friends, here's the story of how my plant sim went from this to this. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, you guys, and welcome to the Plant-A-Sim scenario in The Sims 4. Here's my sim, Rose Pendleton. I gave her the freelance botanist aspiration along with the loves the outdoors, genius, and good traits. Now, full disclosure, it took me 4 tries to beat this scenario. Yeah, 4. But with a little pre-planning, it can be done in just one go. So part of that pre-planning is going to include the season you start in, along with where you decide to live. My first couple of tries, I moved into Willow Creek, and never having played with a plant sim before, I didn't know exactly what all their needs would be. But after a couple of tries, I figured out, sun and water are crucial, and I was actually traveling to Sulani almost daily to fulfill these needs, so I ended up just moving there altogether. I ended up going with the Lagoon Look House, and I didn't want to spend any more time than I had to win this, so I didn't make any changes to the lot or to the house. I just moved in and got right down to business. So the first thing I did was buy a bunch of planters. I knew I was going to focus on lemon trees, which bloom year-round, and strawberries, which bloom in spring, but they seem to evolve very quickly during my first 3 runs, so I wanted to try those again. Also, make sure you grab some bee boxes because those are going to be very important with helping your plants to grow. Next, I went to the Arts Quarter in San Myshuno so I could grab some seeds to plant. Now, unfortunately, when I got there, my haggle game was pretty weak, but I was able to buy the lemons and the strawberries that I needed to get started. If you do the freelance botanist aspiration, you'll need to graft 3 times, so I went ahead and bought a pear as well. You can graft the pear onto your lemon trees to make plantains, I believe. But that was just another thing I went ahead, working ahead, thinking ahead to get that done. But here are the other fruits and vegetables available in the produce stands if you want to go a different route than I did. So back home, I started planting all the fruits that I bought, and I also planted some of the mushrooms that I got when the scenario started. So you'll actually get a seed pack with two different plants in there, along with your 5 plant sim berry thingies. You'll probably notice that Rose is still a human. I have not turned her into a plant sim yet. You get only a few days as a plant sim from each berry, so I gave myself as much time as possible to complete tasks. Well, since the actual planting doesn't count as tending to plants, which you have to do 99 times in this scenario, I had Rose go ahead and do all that as a human. Again, just prolonging those plant berry seeds so we have as much time as possible to get everything done. So she spent the rest of the night in Willow Creek getting her fishing skill up and getting collectibles to sell. You don't really need a whole lot of money, but if you want to focus on redecorating the house or stuff like that, then you can go ahead and make you some money. She also needed to spend time there so the bluebells and snapdragons could grow in, as these are really good for supplementing with when you don't have fish to fertilize with. Before she went to bed, she finally turned into a plant sim which, sorry I missed, but I had to lock the doors. I completely forgot. And I had an intruder. Now, your first day as a plant sim is where you're going to start getting into the scenario tasks. Rose spent most of the day talking to the plants, which helped level up her gardening skill. And she also did some bonding with the bees. This is one of those perks I was talking about to living in Sulani. She was able to just pop in the water for a few minutes and got her hunger level all the way back up. Now, she was already able to fertilize the strawberries and lemons. Now, we used all of the fish already that she caught in Willow Creek, and there actually weren't very many. So she had to supplement with the strawberries that she harvested earlier that morning. But then when she finished with that, she went back to Willow Creek to do some more fishing. And this time, one of the snapdragon plants was finally able to be harvested. So again, those are really good. And so we took those back home and planted them so she could have some year round. Because again, good supplement if you don't have fish. Another task in this scenario is to absorb energy from plants 5 times. Unless you have something specifically for this, don't use your own plants. If this doesn't kill them, it will slow their growth. So what I did was use a random pineapple plant and a coconut tree that were near my house. Now, by Wednesday morning, we had our first plant to evolve to nice quality. So that happened pretty quickly, and it was really surprising. I wasn't expecting it to start kind of going like that already, but I'm glad it did. I think the fertilizing helps, and the bees as well. So we had our strawberries and the lemons. On all of the trees, they're not really grown in yet, but some of them were able to evolve as well. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the task list real quick. Another thing you have to do is absorb energy from the sun to photosynthesize. I think you have to do this 25 times. Now, a quick way that you can do this and just get it done, is to kind of go in and out of the house like Rose is doing now. Every time she goes out into the sun, that counts as 1. So when she starts glowing, that's her photosynthesizing. And you can just do that over and over again until you reach the goal. Oh, hey, my trees finally grew. Now, my first time around, I started the game in the fall so I could get a lot of free seeds during Harvest Fest. I specifically wanted green beans because I read that they grow fast. That didn't really work for me, so I wouldn't necessarily suggest starting in the fall. I'm sure you can still beat the scenario, but I found that starting in spring and focusing on strawberries was much faster. But if nothing else, paint a cool picture. So the next day was actually Rose's birthday, and I decided to throw her a little party. Now, she aged up to an adult, and the party was only silver, but we still had fun. Time skipped to winter, and this beautiful painting inspired me to adopt a cat. So Rose went to Brindleton Bay and added Mayor Whiskers to the family. So here he is singing a lovely little song. Another part of the botanist aspiration is growing a cow plant. If you do this, turn off autonomy or keep a close watch. My sim was obsessed with eating that cake, and she got past me a couple of times while I was checking on the plants. Now, if your plant sim does get eaten, they'll revert back to normal, meaning you lost however many days you had left as a plant sim and you'll have to eat another one. Now this was probably the best day in The Sims I've ever played. Some strawberries were finally able to evolve to perfect quality and the end was near. All I had to do was wait until the morning and harvest those perfect plants and the scenario was over. I completed all the goals as a plant sim in 33 game days, which really equated to countless hours over the course of 3 real life days. Now, I don't want to call anyone a liar, but whoever labeled this as easy wasn't telling the truth at all. Now, it really wasn't that bad. The tasks were pretty easy, they're just time consuming. Again, I'd go in with a plan to make it easier. And don't forget to actually play the game. I focused only on the scenario the first couple of times and it was pretty draining. But once I started doing other things like leaving the house for more than just fishing or painting or dating, it ended up being a lot more fun. I actually thought about a part-time job at one point to move things along faster, but I wasn't sure how it would affect her needs for sun and water. If any of you out there tried a job, let me know how that worked. But anyway, you guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for all my pain and suffering. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!